Imagine waking up to this headline breaking: UK applies to rejoin the European Union. The internet explodes, markets freeze, and people around the world ask the same question: what just happened? Because this isn't just a political twist, it's a global reset. Britain walked away from the EU in 2020, and now it wants back in. Why would it do that? Could it even work? And most importantly, what would change instantly? This isn't just about trade deals or passports. This is about the soul of a nation. Let's explore a world where the UK reboots its EU membership. The consequences might surprise you. Part 1. The Brexit baggage. Rewind to 2016. UK voted to leave the European Union by a narrow margin, 52% to 48%. It was one of the most divisive decisions in modern UK history. Brexit promised to bring sovereignty back, fewer rules from Brussels, more control over immigration, and the freedom to strike new global trade deals. Fast forward to 2025, and here's the reality. The UK economy has grown slower than expected since Brexit. Investment has dropped. Trade with the EU, its biggest partner, has become more expensive and complicated. Labor shortages have hit multiple industries from agriculture to healthcare. A majority of young people now regret leaving. According to a 2024 YouGov poll, 62% of Brits under 40 now say the UK should rejoin the EU. Another poll shows nearly 57% of the total population now support rejoining, a complete reversal from 2016. So the idea is gaining traction, but it's not that simple. Part 2. How rejoining would actually work. First, let's get this straight. The UK can't just knock on the EU's door and walk back in. There's a long application process, and it's not guaranteed. Britain would need to align its laws with EU standards again, reopen trade agreements, possibly accept the euro in the future, though not immediately, and maybe, just maybe, agree to free movement of people again. This means accepting rulings from the European Court of Justice, the very thing Brexiteers campaigned against. Would UK citizens be okay with open borders again? Would politicians agree to follow EU rules after years of rejecting them? It's a tough sell, but let's say it happens. What changes right away? Part 3. The instant effects. Businesses could once again trade with the EU without customs checks and tariffs. That means faster delivery, cheaper products, and happier consumers. The supply chain chaos seen post-Brexit would ease, especially for industries like car manufacturing and pharmaceuticals. British citizens would regain their EU travel rights. That means no more 90-day limits, work restrictions, or long queues at airports. Students could study abroad more easily. Digital nomads rejoice. Foreign companies might view the UK as a safer bet again, a bridge to the European market. London could reclaim its crown as Europe's top financial hub. The UK would have to rebuild trust. It wouldn't get special treatment. And some EU leaders, like Emmanuel Macron, may demand strict terms to prevent more Brexits. But there's another side to this story. Part 4. The global domino effect. If the UK rejoins the EU, the whole geopolitical map shifts. With the UK back, the EU regains one of its top economies and militaries. That's a big boost, especially as the EU takes on a larger global role in defense, climate, and tech. It could also lead to tighter defense coordination, like a European army, which Britain previously opposed. Under a Trump-Vance administration in 2025, Washington's stance toward Europe has grown more skeptical. Trump has consistently criticized NATO allies and EU bureaucracy. J.D. Vance has echoed views that prioritize U.S. nationalism and bilateral deals over global coalitions. If the UK moves closer to the EU, Washington might see it as a betrayal of the special relationship. Rather than welcoming a stronger UK-EU alliance, the current U.S. leadership might push back, preferring a more independent Britain that negotiates directly with America. This could strain military cooperation, delay joint strategies on Russia and China, and disrupt existing defense contracts. Russia, already threatened by EU-NATO cooperation, would see this as a tightening noose. It may push more hybrid attacks, cyber operations, propaganda, and energy manipulation. China, which has cultivated post-Brexit trade deals with Britain, may need to renegotiate. Its Belt and Road push could lose one of its European-friendly access points. Scotland, which voted to remain in the EU, might see this as validation and push harder for independence if Westminster doesn't act. A second referendum may become inevitable. Northern Ireland, always the Brexit flashpoint, might finally find stability. A return to EU norms would reduce border tensions, but it could also ignite unionist anger. The political fallout could be loud, fast, and messy. So, could it happen? Yes, but it would take political courage, public support, and years of negotiation. Would it be worth it? For some, absolutely. For others, it's reopening an old wound. But one thing is clear. If the UK ever rejoined the EU, it wouldn't just be about economics or laws. It would be a symbol of turning back, admitting mistakes, and choosing unity over division. What do you think? Should the UK try to rejoin the EU? Let us know in the comments.